Welcome to Career Journeys, a series of videos by the Consortium for Public Education. Here we explore the career experiences and pathways of professionals from a wide variety of careers to help you think about the skills you'll need and the paths you might take after high school.
Hi, I'm Debbie Pixton with the Consortium for Public Education. Today I'm interviewing Sheldon Ingram, a reporter at WTAE TV. Thank you so much for joining us, Sheldon.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here and glad to share a little bit of insight with your students and try to give them some encouragement moving forward.
So Sheldon, tell me about WTAE TV and your role there. What do you do as a reporter?
Okay, if you watch the evening news, you have your anchors in the studio and they're pitching stories out in the communities that reporters cover. So I'm a general assignment reporter. And as a general assignment reporter, my job is to cover anything happening from a house fire, water main break, a murder, political news, environmental news, issues that affect the community. That's what we do on a daily basis. And then the months of February, May, July, and November, they're called sweeps months. And that's when Nielsen and Arbitron, they measure the ratings of television stations in households. And so during those months, and so what television stations do, they put out some of their best special projects during those months because they know that their ratings are being measured. And that's also big for advertising dollars. So I do special reports during those months as well. And then we have a show called Chronicle, which is a 1-hour news magazine show. And the show topic can range from anything with the opioid epidemic to the anniversary of 9/11, to policing, to the best bakeries or the craft beer culture in Pittsburgh. So I report for that show as well.
How did you end up as a television reporter? Can you tell us a little bit about your career path from high school?
I knew I wanted to be a television reporter when I was about 14 years old. And so in my middle school in Atlantic City, my English teacher pulled me aside and said she wanted me to report for the school newspaper. I didn't have a clue. I didn't even know what a journalist was. And she pulled me aside after school one day, sat me down for about an hour and explained everything to me and sent me on my way to start reporting for the school newspaper. Then I started paying attention to current events more. Then I started reading the newspaper more. I started paying attention to television news more, watching the news at 6 o'clock every evening. And by watching the news every night, I knew that television reporters were intricate people in the workplace who provided the general public with vital information, valuable information every night. And I was captivated with the mix of video and the sound of the reporter talking and being on the scene. So I was about 14 when I declared that as the career I wanted to go into. And coincidentally, in my high school yearbook, they had the name of the student under the senior picture and their aspiring career. And mine says the field of broadcast communications.
What are some skills that make you an especially good reporter?
There are a number of skills as a reporter. It's kind of different from newspaper. Television, we have to have multifaceted layers of skills to be good at what we do. Starting with your sense of presence, your ability to articulate and speak and command the English language, a voice that can get people's attention, knowing how to use your voice. Those are some of the physical skills that you need. And then you have to have some literary skills in terms of your writing and being able to piece your writing with the interviews that you get to blend in the elements for good storytelling.
So Sheldon, if I'm a student in high school and I'm thinking about a career in journalism, broadcast journalism, maybe as a reporter or maybe in a different role, what kinds of questions should I ask myself to know if that might be a good fit for me?
Identify your passion in life and let your passion guide you to your vocation. And because it becomes more enjoyable, you become an inherent expert because it's a part of who you are. And it's a protected value that you have in your own space. And so you're going to be good at it inherently. But if you go out for it, if reporting is just something you want to try, something you want to explore, I don't know how good you'll be at it. But The one thing I can tell you, as you know, if you want to be a reporter, is to watch a lot of television news. If you want to be a print reporter, read a lot of newspapers and examine how people do the job. And then talk to a number of people who are already established in that field. That's what I did at an early age. I spoke to a lot of people who are already established as professionals to understand what it was all about. And then once I understood the skills that were needed, I practiced. I practiced the skills. I practiced using my voice. I practiced writing. I practiced doing stand-ups in front of the camera. Here's the one skill that you have to have as a journalist, whether you're a print reporter or a television reporter. You have to have the ability to relate to people. You have to be able to connect with people regardless of their race, religion, gender, whatever, age, it doesn't matter. You have to be able to connect with them. They have to be able to believe in you before they want to give you a story, before they want to give you an interview. And that is the most valuable tool you can have as a journalist, is to be able to connect with people. There have been times when I've shown up on a story, I tell my camera guy to go one way, and I'll start talking to a group of people over here just to get information on the story. And I do it away from my camera guy. So sometimes they don't know who I am, but they know I'm a person asking questions. I talk to people. Sometimes a lot of times I don't come off as a reporter. I come off as a person just talking to them. And then eventually information starts to come to me. So you have to be able to relate to people, appreciate people in their space where they are and who they are, and without any preconceived notions.
Sheldon, what's one other piece of advice you would offer to our students who are interested in studying journalism?
It's a very competitive workplace, and journalism is a very competitive field. You want to start in high school before you get to college. If you want to go into this field. A lot of mistakes that college students make is that they try to get internships when they're seniors, and they're too late. They're behind the curve. They are in the dust. I started doing internships when I was a sophomore in college, and I continued all the way up until my senior year. So I never stopped. I stayed on that grind because, again, it was my passion, number one. Number two, I wanted to be better, twice as good as my peers coming out of college. And so if you start early, start exploring the field now while you're in high school. Start exploring the field early when you're a freshman in college. Start doing internships as a sophomore. Don't wait for your curriculum outline to tell you that your interns should begin your senior year when you do them. Start them early. Find a way to break the rules in a good way that benefits you. I did my last internship at CNN in Atlanta, and CNN had 2 positions in the Southeast Bureau for college students. And there were 137 college students throughout the Southeast portion of the country who applied for 2 internships. 137 college students applied for 2 internships in the Southeastern Bureau of CNN in Atlanta. And I was one of the 2 interns selected for those 2 spots. And from there, I created my resume tape. And that resume tape with CNN banner and new mic flags and everything landed me 3 job offers coming out of school. And so I had 3 job offers, and I took my first job in Chattanooga, Tennessee, went to Norfolk, Virginia, and now Pittsburgh. My last piece of advice is to, as a young person striving to find your place in this world, be dedicated to your passion, be dedicated to your career path. You will see many of your peers veering away to do a lot of the things that young people do. They'll veer away from their focus or their career path to make the mistakes that a lot of young people make. What I will say is, do not be afraid to stand alone when you know you're doing right for your career path and your future. Don't be afraid to stay in your apartment or your dorm to study or do some extra work when you know your peers are out partying. Don't be afraid to stand alone and be that person who is dedicated to your principle and your career path moving forward. It'll pay off in the long run.
Sheldon, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and experiences with us today.
Pleasure, and I hope the advice that I shared goes a long way with the kids.
For more information or to learn about other careers in the Career Journey series, visit our website and check back soon for our next installment. Thanks!